Zarak Homeboy says, please, is there any verse in the Quran to pray 5 times a day? No, there is no verse like that. There is nothing called 5 times a day in the Quran. There is no verse which talks about salat being 5 times a day. No. Unless people twist the verses out of context and put their own words there, fine. That is what the hadith followers do. Like Sunnis, Shias, Tariqa to Tijaniya, whoever, they all manipulate verses and insert them there. Right? So any scholar who says this Quran mentioned 5 salats, I'm available. Find me. We can have a dialogue only on that. I would love to handle you on that. Simple. Yeah, Zarak Homeboy, the 5 prayers come from the hadith. It's not from the Quran. And actually, let me see if I can help you. How they got the 5 prayers, right? Yeah, where they said the prophet went to the sky to bring 50 prayers, right? He says 50 prayers. The hadith, I can give you the reference. Please, you can set it up. Let me give you the reference. It's Sahih al-Bukhari, 349. In book reference, book number 8, hadith number 1, right? So let me tell you the hadith, and then you judge it for yourself. It says what? Abu Dar narrated. Sahih Bukhari, Imam Bukhari wrote this, right? And he says, Abu Dar narrated, Allah's messenger said, while I was at Mecca, the roof of my house was opened, and Gabriel descended, opened my chest and washed it with Zamzam water. Then he brought a golden tray full of wisdom and faith, and having poured its contents into my chest, he closed it. Then he took my hand, ascended with me to the nearest heaven. Listen carefully. When I reached the nearest heaven, Gabriel said to the gatekeeper of the heaven, listen. Gabriel now said to the gatekeeper of the heaven, open the gate. Gatekeeper asked, who is it? Gabriel answered, Gabriel. He asked, is there anyone with you? So that gatekeeper is blind. He can't see. So he has to now ask, is there anyone with you? Then he said, yes, Muhammad is with me. He asked, has he been called? Gabriel said, yes. So the gatekeeper, the gate was opened. We went over the nearest heaven, and there we saw a man sitting with some people on his right hand and some on his left hand. When he looked towards his right, he laughed. When he looked towards his left, he wept. Then he said, oh, welcome, pious prophet and pious son. I asked Gabriel, who is he? He replied, he is Adam. So according to this hadith, Muhammad met Adam, right? So now to cut the long story short, let me go to the funny part. The funny part is here. According to the narration, Ibn Hazm and Anas bin Malik said that the prophet said, right? The funny part says, the prophet said, Allah enjoined 50 prayers on my followers. Listen carefully, on my followers, not him. Allah enjoined 50 prayers on my followers, not him. Listen carefully. The 50 prayers was for his followers, not him. Listen to, pay close attention to how to discern to a discourse when you are listening to somebody talking or a speech. Listen carefully. There are certain details you have to pick up. Then he says, when I returned with this order of Allah, I passed by Moses, who asked me, what has Allah enjoyed on your followers, not the prophets? These 50 prayers, according to the hadith, the prophet was not part of it. So listen carefully. So then he told Moses, Moses told Muhammad, what has Allah enjoyed on your followers? I replied, he has enjoyed 50 prayers on them. Listen again, on them, not on us. He, the prophet, is not part of the 50 garbage prayers you have. So listen carefully. So then he said, I replied, he has enjoyed 50 prayers on them. Moses said, go back to your Lord. Now Moses, who is a dead man, who was already dead, he's now giving prophets the command, go back. Listen carefully. I thought you said the prophet Muhammad was the best of creation. He's the best of everybody. Really? Oh, so now a dead Moses was telling him, go back to your Lord and appeal for reduction. Are we doing business here? What the fuck is this? Excuse my language. What is this? Peace, brother Jatim Al-Katan. What is this? He's telling Muhammad, alayhi salam, go back to your Lord. Look at the command. It's not even an advice. Go back to your Lord. Then he said what? For your followers will not be able to bear it. And ladies and gentlemen, please learn how to discern to a discourse. Discern carefully. The 50 prayers he went to collect, he is not part of it. He, Muhammad, he's not part of the 50. Listen carefully. He wasn't part of the 50. It was only enjoined on his followers.